Welcome, fans, to episode 117 of Rangers Ed, presented by Lucarelli Law. If you're in Florida and need a lawyer, call Lucarelli Law and tell them the boys at Rangers Ed sent you. This is your host, Cousin Ed. Positive Cousin Ed. Positivity. Stealing little Ed's
Unbelievable.
thunder. I got to be positive, man. I mean, big games to talk about here. We got a good guest. Christine and Liz from Double D-Fense podcast are joining us to talk some Rangers. It's going to be fun. But first, let me throw it over to my co-host, Little Ed, who was at the Panthers game on Saturday. What's up, buddy?
Oh, it was electric. Game was fantastic. Lindsay and I had a nice little day. We went to the Empire State Building. Star Wars has a little pop-up, not a shop, but like little tour that you can do at the Empire State Building. They have like Lego Star Wars all over the place, so that was cool. We went all the way up to the top, floor 102. So we were like up in the antenna. I sent you guys a video of we were like literally up in the clouds. We were like in the middle of a rainstorm on Saturday, so we didn't have a great view. But it was pretty incredible. I've been up there before, but I don't think I went all the way up last time. I couldn't really remember, but I definitely went to like the main observation deck. But going all the way up in the tower, that was pretty cool. And they just have like a lot of other stuff around, like how the Empire State Building was built and stuff like that. So and a lot of cool, like immersive experiences, I guess you can call it. They had like videos of actors, like workers or whatever. Like you look like you were on the job site. It was just really cool. So I appreciated that. So then we're going to the game, or like before that, we're on Long Island Railroad, and we get off the train, and this couple was there. And they saw my hat, I guess, and they didn't really know that where they were going. They were visiting from West Palm Beach. They lived in New York 20-something years ago, but now they're retired down in West Palm Beach. So they were like, oh, you guys going to the Garden? Like, we're not really sure where we're going. We have to transfer to Jamaica. And one thing led to another. I think I either gave them a sticker or Lindsay said, like, oh, he has a podcast or something like that. And then the guy was like, oh, yeah, I listened to you guys the other day on the treadmill or on the bike at the gym. And I was like, get out of here. Like, yeah, like this random guy retired down in Florida, just like he was rehabbing one of his knees. He got a knee replacement, so he's like, "Yeah, I got to ride the bike every day." So my phone just scrolls through all the podcasts, and I heard you guys the other day. It was crazy. And then fast forward, I mean, the game was electric. We'll get into that a little bit later. But fast forward, we're on the train going home, and obviously they come on the same train as us, but like coincidentally on the same car and everything. So then we have to transfer at Jamaica again, and we're talking or whatever. And then we're on the train home, and he goes, "Are you guys the podcast that talks about the deli in Long Beach?" And at first I was like, "No, that's not us. Must be a different one," because I don't associate Sorrento's as being a deli. You know, I think of it as a pizzeria, I guess, right off the bat. But it is technically a deli. So Lindsay's like, "Yeah, you do Sorrento's." I was like, "Oh my God." He was like, "Yeah, I hear that ad all the time. Like, should I go check them out?" And I'm like, "While you're here, you have to go check out Sorrento's." So hopefully, shout out to Lillian and Paul. It was a lot of fun sharing the train ride with them. So yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Nice. I love when that happens.
It was great.
Thanks for listening, Lillian and Paul. Appreciate that. And that was a hell of a game to be at. We'll talk about it in a few. We also got Coach Ed here. What's up, Coach?
What's going on, boys?
The Very exciting. Looking clean, looking good.
We're moving it along, baby. We're working on it.
Yeah, it's looking good, nice and clean over there for sure.
How is so Ed, give us the little synopsis. We want to talk about the Garden later.
Talk about what?
What was your feeling? Were you there for the warm-up in the Panthers game?
Oh, yeah. I figured we'd talk about it when we get to the Panthers game. You want me to talk more about it now? Cuz, what do you think?
No. Just wait. Coach Ed likes to go off the rails. He just takes us. He doesn't follow a script, you know? Like, there's no script in Coach Ed's mind. It's just
I'm like Larry.
Why do we even talk about it before?
I'm like Larry David. It's all
right, so we're gonna do like A, B, and C.
It's not like we had a meeting before the episode or anything, you know. Yeah. All right, Mikey produces over there up in the loft. What's up, Mikey?
What's going on? Excited for this episode. Excited for the guests. We actually did a really cool interview last week with Dr. Anna Garcia. So fans, keep an eye out for an episode dropping on Friday. Also including EA the PA. We discuss, all the injuries that the Rangers have had recently with, Wheeler going down for the season, Lindgren going down, Hito with his concussions. Anna does this for a living. You know, she's a sports medicine doctor, so she really broke down every injury that the Rangers has had. It's a really cool interview, so definitely take a listen and watch on YouTube for sure.
And Lindgren's already skating on he's skating with the team. I saw today already.
Crazy.
But you gotta check out that interview.
I'll tease it a little bit. Anna did not predict that. We'll just say that. She did not predict Lindgren coming back so quick. But yeah, this is going to be kind of part of I guess like a new YouTube series. EA the PA is going to have her own little injury report. Hopefully injuries don't happen very often, but hopefully she's going to grab a few more medical field guests that she can interview on that show, and the three of us or the four of us will hop on as often as we can, and you might get a mix and match of us, but that's going to be a little series that we release here and there, part of our special Friday episodes, right, Mikey?
Yes, every Friday, and we'll give everyone a heads up when we do release them.
Yeah. So those are going to be exclusively on YouTube. So they're going to be more video inclined, where it's going to be better off watching than it is listening in the car. So definitely head over to YouTube when you get home and enjoy it on the TV.
In Anna's defense, however, she did say that hockey players are a different breed, so you never know.
That's true. That was a really good quote. So We're not going to give any more of that. That's worth listening to, just getting to that part. For sure. Yeah, that was a good one.
All right, so let's jump right into the jersey profile sponsored by Oscar's Pro Stitch Hockey.
Hey, Ranger fans, the season is winding down fast, and the Rangers are preparing for the playoffs. Are you ready for the playoffs? Get ready for your next trip to the Garden with a new Ranger jersey customized by Oscar's Pro Stitch Hockey. Don't settle for any imitations. Pick your jersey from any era, send it to Oscar for professional, hand-stitched, official NHL kits. Get your favorite throwback Rangers jersey, all-star jersey, or retro ready for postseason. Even the Stadium Series kits are in. So get in contact with Oscar on Instagram at OscarsPSH and wear it proud. Let's go, Rangers.
Nice.
Number 17, Brandon Dubinsky. This is not an Oscar-approved jersey, unfortunately.
I was going to say.
It is a Winter Classic, though. So
I actually don't have one. I actually don't have one of those. I've never added that one to my collection. I really like that jersey.
Yeah, it's a nice jersey, and Dubinsky was definitely one of my favorite players when he was a Ranger. He only played 393 games with the Rangers, 81 goals, 213 points, and he was the headliner in the Rick Nash trade. That also brought us Pavel Buchnevich, coach. Just so a little trivia there. The third round pick we got in that deal was Pavel Buchnevich.
So that's
beautiful.
You did a trade tree for this one, didn't you?
I think I did the Nash trade tree, yeah, because it's just it's a really hectic trade tree. I think it's almost over now.
We can go back and re-release that.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and take a look. I think I did.
Joey the Historian, what episode was that trade tree?
Yeah, I mean, look, Doobie, he really became a leader in Columbus. His career was kind of cut short. He had some issues towards the end of his career. Coach, I know you've been all over the Tortorella stuff lately. He's not a fan of Tortorella. I don't know if you saw his tweet when Tortorella was scratching Couturier about Tortorella's antics, but he really hates Tortorella. He really hates
I'm sure he coached a lot of players in his career. I'm sure there's a lot of guys who hate him. A lot of guys hate Mike Keenan also. It's the way it goes.
A lot of players probably hate Coach Ed. It's okay.
I'm sure. That's the way it goes.
Oh, geez.
But I'm sure down the road, when Dubinsky's like 60, he's going to realize something in his life and say, that's why Torts did that.
I don't know about that, but
maybe.
The thing with Brandon Dubinsky I thought was pretty cool was when he did get traded to Columbus, there was part of a resurgence with Columbus, right? They started getting pretty competitive. I don't know if is that when they got Panarin as well?
Sure, it was after that. A couple of years later, they got Panarin. 3 or 4 years later.
It
wasn't right away. Yeah.
But Columbus was pretty competitive.
I don't want to say it put them on the map, but I mean, Nash was like the only player they had, and then they were kind of, I guess, starting to build like more of a not all-around team, but more of a well-rounded team, I guess, in a way. But I found it interesting that he won the Stephen McDonald Award as a rookie.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Doopy was
Unless I read that wrong. He won that, and then Rookie of the Year voted on by his teammates, like Rookie of the Year for the Rangers.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting.
And that was
mean,
at
he
a time
definitely-
too where the Rangers were calling up a lot of guys. They had Callahan was a rookie around then, Nisimov. So there was a few. He was a good Ranger and a fan favorite, and give him his love with number 17 for sure. Good career. He looked like he might be more than what he actually became at one point, but he still had a really solid career. Overall,
Yeah, it said his successful rookie season was marked on April 4th, 2008, when he was named Stephen McDonald Extra Effort Award and Rookie of the Year for the Rangers as voted by his teammates. And he also centered Yager, right, as a rookie too, so that's got to be a lot of pressure and pretty cool.
Yeah, no pressure. Yager, and you're right. But all right, Brandon Dubinsky, shout out to him. Obviously, he's one of my jerseys, and he was traded shortly after I got that jersey, if you guys were wondering. All right. So prior to the last episode, the Rangers were 45-19-4. They went 2-1-0. They sit 47-20-4, 98 points, first in the Metro, tied for first in the NHL. They had a tough 3-game slate. Winnipeg, Boston, Florida. Mikey 150 tells us, tough sledding for the Rangers. And I said, no, tough sledding for those teams. And it was pretty good overall. The Winnipeg game was tough, a 4-2 loss, and then a 5-2 win over Boston and a 4-3 shootout win over Florida. So before we get into that, let's bring on our guests from the Double D-Fense podcast, Christine and Liz. Let's bring them on. Hello.
You guys are so good with
Please.
the graphic. That was amazing. Thank you.
I need to work on my background. I'm so plain, but
I told you guys on your show, fly me out to California. I'll hook it up.
You're gonna decorate for me? Come on.
Yeah, look behind me. That's
know.
pretty much what I do.
I have enough stuff to decorate. I just gotta get it together. But
You guys are inspiring us.
I know. Blasters. So what a good game. You guys are talking about the game.
Yeah.
I was actually at the Kings game Saturday watching the Rangers win in the bar. So that was kind of fun, actually. My friends let me sit and watch my game until they won. And then I got to go watch the Kings beat Tampa Bay in overtime, which was satisfying. So it was good.
Nice little Saturday.
Yeah, that was good.
I like that. So tell the fans a little bit about your podcast, Double D-Fense. So what is it? And, what inspired you guys to start the podcast? And, overall, obviously you're Ranger fans, so they're going to want to know.
Well, I'll jump in on that. So Christine and I met. We're both based in Los Angeles, and we are former New Yorkers who have made our way out west because we just got sick of the winter. And we actually
dragged by our parents when we were younger.
Or that, one or the other. We actually met on a Ladies of the New York Rangers Facebook message group. So we were chatting, and I think it was Christine who said, hey, if anyone's going to this Ranger game, do you want to meet up in between periods? So we did. We said hello. It was really fast. And then over the summer, so that was like 3 years ago, the summer, as you do, you have 3 bottles of wine and start talking about really interesting ideas and creative stuff. And Christine and I are like, what's missing from the podcasting community, and just in terms of the New York Rangers, with sort of a female angle on it. So we decided that we wanted to give it a shot, and Double D-Fense was born. We are well into season 2 of the podcast, and it's been just a tremendous ride. It's been so much fun meeting awesome people like you guys, connecting with friends and fans. It's been just such a great time.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. So LA, so you said you wanted to escape the cold. I did the same thing, but I went south. I'm in Miami, so you guys went really far away from home, but it must be nice. At least you can watch the Kings game. Like you said, you're at the Kings game. The Rangers are on at 4. The Kings are on at 7 there, right? So it's,
Yeah, well, that game started really late on Saturday. I was a little, but it worked out. It worked out well.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
we get the games early. So I know people complain when the Rangers do West Coast trips and they complain because you guys are watching games at 10. But we're working at 4. So it's funny. The games aren't starting at 4:30 anymore. They're starting at 4. Yeah.
And then the Sundays at 10 a.m. have been a little bit rough, especially when Christina and I have been out on a Saturday night. Dragging yourselves awake to watch the game has been occasionally a challenge.
The 1 o'clock.
10 o'clock in the that's got to be tough. 10 o'clock in the morning, huh?
That's what Bloody Marys are for. And as part of the podcast, what we do a drink pairing for every game. So every time you are questioning what to drink for your Rangers game, you can have a look at our Instagram because we have a customized drink pairing for every single game. Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
check out their Instagram at double_D-Fense.
And I'll also say, there's a lot of New Yorkers who have relocated to the Southern California area. Cousin Ed, I'm sure you're seeing it too. I'm sure there's a ton of New Yorkers down in Florida. So it's a great community to find. And it's just a really great way to connect with friends who have moved from the East Coast who are now, somewhere else. So we have a nice little group of friends that we are able to watch the games with out here, go to games with. When the Rangers went to Vegas, we did a huge trip with a bunch of friends who all came out to Vegas, and then we went out in LA, then we went to Anaheim. So we had a really good time.
There was over 50 people in Vegas that met because there were a bunch of people that flew out from New York too to see the game. So there were 7 or 8 of us going to the game. Another 10. My child lives there, so he shows up so I can feed him. And and then a bunch of people traveled out, from the East Coast. So we had a gathering of about 50 or more people. It was really fun. So, and then we just found a bar. Well, we met the guys 2 years ago, actually, it's a guy and his dad who own this bar called Wall Street Pizza. I'm going to shout him out because it's super fun. They want Ranger fans there. They're big, huge fans themselves. They make New York style pizza out there. They're down by the beach. So we're definitely looking at kind of getting down there more and doing some watch games, for the playoffs as it gets warmer too. So we're build it up here.
That's a great idea.
And the energy's been great because obviously this season has just been spectacular in all kinds of ways that I don't even know if we were predicting prior to things moving forward, but it's been really awesome to see. And obviously now with the playoffs coming up, we're going to do like some watch parties and just see how far these boys can take it. Hopefully it's all
we're going to work our way up to you guys and the bus and the tailgating and everything. You can do.
I said to Christine, we're taking notes. You guys are awesome.
Well, we said it to you guys last time. We'd love to have you next time you're in New York. I mean, we'll definitely do like a joint event of some sort when you guys are here. And the California trip or the West Coast trip has been on our bucket list for a long time. So we'll have to pull that trigger eventually. And then maybe we could do some shows and some joint events with you guys over there as well. So that'd be a lot of fun.
Doors open here.
Same to you.
And we'll be there for sure. So I'm ready. I keep procrastinating, but the playoffs are going to be happening. So I know I'm going to be out there for some form of a playoff game. It's going to happen.
Oh, then definitely let us know.
I will.
It's sneaking up on us quick. So
I know we're down to what handful of games left. What 11, do you guys think?
Right?
We got. Did you see that big group? I mean, the fact that I was looking at this yesterday, now like 7, 8 teams are now all separated by 1 point is crazy. The chatter has changed dramatically from the wild card spots to President's Trophy mix and who's going to do it, and then
Well, that's interesting. You bring that up because that's actually the first thing I wanted to ask you guys. So I'll start with you, Christine, since you brought it up. You got seven teams within 1 point, right? The Rangers and Vancouver have 98. Florida, Boston, Carolina, Colorado, and Dallas have 97. So that's really your competition. And you also have, even behind that, Winnipeg at 93. So they're right there also. That's really your competition for the President's Trophy. So first off, do we care about the President's Trophy? If you read Twitter, it seems like no one cares about the President's Trophy. So that's number one. And then the second part of it is, If not, do we care about the number 1 seed in the East? Does that matter to you?
So to answer the questions, I just saw a post, and I actually just answered the post with what I'm going to tell you now. Someone's like, do we want to be first? And I said, it's not a matter of what we want. So it's not. It doesn't matter to me. I feel it's the superstition of the teams and how they are, and they all vary. So I feel like our team's a little superstitious. So I don't think they necessarily want it. But it's not a matter what I want. So that's the first question. So it's not that I don't care. I just don't think it's about what we want. It's nice to have, I think there's statistics and, again, superstition surrounding any of these first place spots. But I would go for the first. The only reason I'm looking at first place is I'd rather, I don't know, we see who we're going to play. Everything's shifting. So I think I saw some hypothetical questions too on like, do we want to not get it and then risk getting and trying to get home ice advantage and maybe playing against the Kings, so there's more, I don't know, there's more anxiety in that, I think. So I'd rather hopefully end up in first and get that home ice advantage, as far as
I think they asked Laviolette that, and Laviolette just said, look, we're trying to win every game. Whatever happens at the end happens. They're not like striving for it.
No, I know. He's got that.
They win it.
Yeah. So like their approach is just go and play the game and win the game. Just go win.
Yeah.
Go win. And
he joked around about it. Like, what am I supposed to say? Like, no, guys, let's take this one off. We don't want these 2 points.
Yeah, but this is a comment I heard the guys making maybe a month or so ago. And when they said it, I think what gets them is when they realize who they're playing, or or what you were talking about Dubinsky and like his and going against Yager, and it's the pressure. And I think when other things or stats kind of come involved, I think it gets them a little anxiety, and they get a little pressured and they don't perform as much. So when they go out just to play, they do so well. And I think that's been Laviolette's tactic for quite some time now. So I'm like, just keep doing that, because I think we're becoming more stable. And I think what gets us now and puts us in the front runner now is our inconsistency is a little consistent, which means like, look, we fall behind in the beginning, but we win. And now we're in the top spot in comebacks, right? So we play better when we're challenged more.
I agree with you. I do think the benefit, if the Rangers can pull off the President's Trophy, the benefit that I think would happen with these guys is they will feel very validated in the work that they're doing. And I felt like, we obviously went through like a real rough patch in January and February, or in January. And I think that if these guys could win the President's Trophy, I think it will remind them that they know how to win. And I think that confidence was really getting to them earlier in the season. And I think now that they've hit their stride, it would be really nice to see that rewarded, especially as they're about to go into the playoffs.
Do you think that rough patch was long enough though? Because I was just thinking the same thing, and I was like, they never fell out of first place. No, they never fell out of first place. It's hard for a team to go wire to wire and then also wire to wire in the playoffs.
The season's not over yet. They're right there.
I'm just saying, if it does happen, I mean, like, let's assume that they stay on the hot streak that they're on now and they finish the season off strong. It's hard to say that they were even like taught a lesson or taught how to lose, in a way with this team at least, So. But at the same time, they've bounced back from every adversity they've faced so far.
I was going to say exactly that. Yeah, this is a team that can be down 2 goals, and that is not a problem. They will come back and find a way to win. They'll find 800 different ways to win. So I feel like they get that mini lesson every time that they're down in a game and come from behind, which has happened so much this season.
And that comes from good coaching.
I think let Colorado win the President's Trophy or Dallas, and we'll take first in the East.
Yeah, so
that'll give them the confidence you're talking about, but we don't have to worry about the President's Trophy.
Well, so I know you're making a joke. But I really do think
I'm not making a joke. That's what I would like them to do.
There's no President's Trophy jinx. It's just hard to win the cup. There's 16 teams
I know,
trying to win.
And there's no jersey. So it's like no jersey curse either.
Yeah.
Stop it. All right. So we got first in the East lines up the Rangers to play probably either Philly, Washington, Detroit, the Islanders, New Jersey, Buffalo. Like, give me that matchup versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is probably Tampa Bay and Florida are the two teams in the East that I don't want to play in the playoffs. So if we start off round one, Rangers, Tampa Bay, I'm not happy because I can see the Rangers losing that in 7 games. Like
I think we've got them. If they mark up, look, I was just watching. They were not looking that great on Saturday. They've got holes, and they relied a lot on Stamkos. So if they mark him up, they can do it, And
they got Stamkos, Point, Kucherov, Vasilevsky. These are 2-time Stanley Cup champions, playoff experience. They've probably been holding it in the tank. This is what I'm thinking. They're ready to just fly out of the gate in the playoffs. I just don't want to play them. But we'll see. I think that number 1 seed gives you home ice, like you guys said. And then if we play Washington, give me that all day. But
I know, right? I'm most nervous against the Canes, I think.
Yeah, I'm in that boat. I think the Canes have a way of getting under the Rangers' skin. They've played really well. They played physical hockey, and I feel like Brind'Amour has the Rangers number. I feel like that guy is just ready to blow at any time. They make me the most nervous. I wouldn't mind seeing Detroit on the other side of the matchup. I wouldn't mind seeing the Capitals, but the Canes scare me.
What do you base that on? Because the Rangers beat the Canes.
Just a feeling.
Yeah, they also
beat them in the playoffs.
got all our players too.
Yeah,
they beat them 2 years. They beat them 2 years ago in the playoffs.
I think.
Yeah, we beat them.
But they just get dirtier, I think.
Yeah.
I don't trust them. Out of all,
can't underestimate them.
That's why we got Matt Rempe and Jacob Trouba to take care of that. So
I don't underestimate them, but
good. So Trouba's good. It's slated to be back by then, which I don't even know what happened to him because it seemed to be off, the plays, and
Lindgren stapled himself back together, so it looks like he's going to somehow make it back in.
I was laughing because the more injured he gets, the better he is. So in a way,
he's angrier.
Yeah, I saw your recent episode. He's the most unluckiest player in the NHL. Or something.
Yes. But he does
after the season. After the season, they announced like Lindgren had a separated shoulder, a broken sternum. Broken shin, broken ankle.
And signs for a 6-year extension.
You were talking with your guest last week about like how, with injuries and stuff and how, hockey players are a different breed. And you guys are coaches. I'm a hockey mom. My kids are raised. And when you actually witness 5-year-olds puking in a trash can on the side of the ring just so they can play, that's a different breed in itself. And I've seen that they would rather play and puke in a trash can than tell their parents they don't feel good. And so, and when it starts that young, then they're set for life. So yeah, I totally get it. And he needs an award for
that. So Jonathan Quick, let's talk about Jonathan Quick real quick. No pun intended. He won his 391st game in the NHL. He's tied for the most all-time for an American-born goaltender. 16-5-2. I mean, who thought this would happen before the season? I don't think there was a single person who thought that Quick would have this kind of a season. Maybe some. I know Coach Ed's probably saying he did. But there's no way he thought it was going to be like this.
I interview a lot of guys at when we were at Round LA. And it's a nice surprise, but I think he feels home here. And I think that just livened him up. Like, all right, so being here in LA and going to the Kings games, for years, I know Quick pretty well and the way he plays. He makes me nervous as hell because just like we saw against when did he play against Boston? He goes down and he goes out too far, and every time he gives me a little mini heart attack. But that's his style, and 90% of the time it works and 10% it doesn't. So that's just the way he is. And ever since
I'll take those odds any day.
I know. Wow. And he's still a fan favorite. There were, the amount of people still wearing Quick jerseys, around the arena is so refreshing to see, especially since he's with us now. And just, in all of the years, it's just good to see him alive and doing that. No one expected. He had a huge injury that took him out the entire year, a groin injury, because you see him, he likes to go side to side and he likes to do the splits.
Yeah, he does.
it didn't work. So he was out for the whole season. And I think he never really came back to his full potential, for how he would play with the Kings. So the quick little, shifts in the teams he was at and him just ending up where he wanted to be. It's nice to see players end up truly where they want to be, where they're truly fans of.
And how lucky was it for the Rangers that he was able to jump in when Shesterkin was going through whatever it was he was struggling with, because Quick really stepped up when we needed him to and did really, really well.
I mean, he's in it for now because he's 9 away from his 400. And
I'll say this, for that exact reason that Liz just said is why I voted for Quick to win the extra effort award this year, because number one, when you're written off like that as a veteran, 38 years old or whatever, to have the season he had is incredible enough. He says all the right things in the locker room, but he really stepped up. And there were a lot of fans who were saying, hey, is this guy our number one goalie? As I said no. Okay, obviously. I maintained that's ridiculous the entire time, but he was playing that well. He was playing that well to make people talk about that. So
that was a big shift. Yeah. And so what do you think the mentality is where like, okay, so why do you think he played in the Boston game? Because typically you wouldn't see that. And he's shaking things up, which I like, but he's kind of gone off the goalie road and did his own thing.
Coach, who did we ask about this that said that is like preset like a month in advance by the goalie coach? It's not even something.
Rico.
Rico said it. Rico said?
No, I think Valaket said it on one of his interviews that they planned that out. But then you talk about Tortorella, and he doesn't. He goes game by game.
Right,
so every coach is probably different. But I just feel like you don't want to wear Shesterkin down either.
I know.
And maybe it was a better matchup, and Benoit Allaire probably had something to do with it, saying, this is the situation. He's better suited for this style. I don't know. We don't know what goes on, but he's got to get games in, and every game's been tough for the last 4 games, so he's got to get one of them.
Yeah,
they've been playing a lot of hockey, and I mean, and can you really go wrong right now with either one of the goalies? Yeah. So I mean, obviously Igor is way back to being Igor, and obviously number one, no doubt. I mean, but you throw Quick in that, you have a very, very good chance of winning as well. So I mean, it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, in hindsight, maybe Quick gets the Winnipeg game and Igor gets the Boston game. In my opinion, it's a tougher game, but that's just how it shook out. I mean,
actually, I think against Boston it was better because I was watching how Boston was playing, and they crowd the net and Quick is a little quicker, where I think
he's better down low too. That could have something to do with it. With a lot of screens in front, he's better like getting low, very low. That's kind of his style. So yeah, it's definitely something.
I heard Quick is the only one that's played goalie and had every single team in the NHL play against him.
Wow.
So
that's an interesting stat.
Yeah, that was from my child. My child knows stuff. So.
but that includes like the Kraken and
Yeah.
So someone like Lundqvist would never have that opportunity.
What about Fleury? Marc-Andre Fleury. I feel like
did he play the Kraken?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's up there.
He might not have started against them.
Maybe. Maybe it's American born.
Could be.
He might have
Mike, you look that up.
One of.
Yeah, we talked about it a while ago.
It's a small list. But he's on.
Him going back and playing against his home team can solidify that. So.
Well, I think
he might have been the first to do it.
I think we'll see some more Quick in the next week or two. We got Philly, Colorado, and then the schedule slows down a little bit with Arizona, Pittsburgh, New Jersey, Detroit. At that point, Shesterkin's going to be resting a little bit for the playoffs. So Quick's going to have his chance.
With just these few games left and potentially being able to play in the playoffs, which is a big question that I have, with 9 games to hit 400, how close do you think he's going to get?
Well, he's got another season. He signed an extension.
Well, I'm not even talking about next season. I was thankful for that because I really want him to hit that milestone with us. So that solidifies that. It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be a special
moment. But now it's like we're just so close to – and I guess it's a matter of if
I would guess he starts 4 more games this year. That would be my guess.
Yeah,
4 or
Christine,
5.
he's not getting 9 out of the last 11 games. I hate to disappoint you.
No, but it counts through the year too. So, and I just don't know if he'll see any ice time during playoffs. So,
Well, the playoffs is a crapshoot, right? Injuries happen,
Yeah.
and also, it's been a trend recently. Goalies get pulled, a backup comes in, gets hot, plays a couple of games. So who knows? You can't really predict that.
And this is a fun question for you guys. I'm going to interview you. So we've seen a record number of OTs, right? And I think we were just talking about that with, if it continues like that, we will hit this record number of overtime games. Do you think that's going to, and we've seen that kind of in the playoffs kind of extend more, like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, can you call like how many things you're going to go into overtimes, multiple overtimes? Like, do you think that'll happen a lot? I think it's going to. I think you guys
What, in the
late
The
night.
Rangers or the playoff in general, or the NHL?
I think you can start with the Rangers, but you can start in general, too. But I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of East Coast late nighters for you guys. And so I would get your coffee or your or your news alarm ready. With everything we've seen, and we keep seeing it grow with overtimes, I think I'm just going to predict there's going to be a lot of 5-period games, kind of more than we've seen. I think it's
What are you calling a prediction? You got to give us a number. You can't just say a lot. What's a lot?
Give us an over/under.
I think at least a quarter of them. I'm going to call that.
So say
a quarter of the playoff games will go 2 overtimes. Wow. I mean, there's been a lot of multiple overtime games recently in the playoffs. I feel like teams clamp down a little differently. Like in the regular season, it's a 2-2 game. You might be a little more aggressive towards the end of the third period, try and get that 2 points. In the playoffs, you just want to stick to your system. You know what I mean? So
I know.
It doesn't matter if it goes to overtime. So I feel like there will be a lot of overtimes. I agree with you. I don't know about a quarter. That's a lot.
I don't know.
But
I don't know how.
I guess
there were a lot. There were a lot last year. There were a lot of.
I feel like it feels like a lot, but maybe it's not. I'd have to see the numbers
there was
from
a
like
lot.
last year, the year before.
It gets more and more, and it's a curious thing. So
I think there was a triple OT at some point last year, and I mean, overtimes to the Rangers. That's tough. So I want to say I don't want a lot, but I'm sure we're going to get at least 1 or 2. As far as a double or triple overtime, I'll throw my prediction at 1.
1, okay.
For the Rangers.
I mean, your quarter's high, but I just don't know. I just feel like there's going to be more than before. So
no, overtime in general for sure, but double and triple for the Rangers, I think it'll end earlier than that.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll keep an eye on it.
I'm thinking a lot of I think we're gonna be able to take games in 5 or 6. I'm not even looking at game 7s anymore. So I think we can.
That'd be nice.
We can do it. I think
from your mouth to God's ears.
Yeah,
for real.
Christina's the optimist.
I thought I was an optimist.
I've been closer to hitting the panic button way more times than Christina is. I don't know how I'm gonna handle the playoffs.
I know.
It's tough,
At least there's no shootout.
It's tough. I literally just stand in front of my TV and pace back and forth. Like I don't even sit on the couch.
What, during an overtime or a shootout?
Just during the entire playoff game.
I know.
From puck drop to the end.
So you guys are
There's no sitting.
I don't know if I was talking to you guys about this last time, but I like shootouts. I'm so traumatized by shootouts because when my son was younger, he had been 8 or 9. We were playing for a championship, and it went 15 rounds in the shootout. And the goalie moms are crying, and I was so like I was so anxious. I had to go outside, and outside all I would hear is oh. And then it got to the point where I had to just cover my ears until I heard a cheer that wouldn't stop. And we had won, but I could not, I don't even know how coaches and kids and parents could actually stand there and just go through the anxiety of watching. And now it's traumatizing for life. So watching the game the other night, I was in a bar. I screamed so loud in the bar. I scared the bartender because we were getting a beer, and all of a sudden I saw the score, like right after, right after the Panthers scored, and I screamed really loud, and then it was great. And then when it went to shootout, it was Tarasenko against Igor, and I was like, I closed my eyes and crossed my fingers. That worked perfect. It's too much.
All right, let's. Sorry, go ahead.
Was there a question in there? I forget.
No, I just don't
No,
know. You
I
guys
don't
are
know.
coaches. Like, what I was asking is like, you guys are coaches. Like, how do you guys deal with that?
It's
Well,
tough.
we don't do shootouts as coaches, that's for sure. Overtime, Coach Ed and I, we have a pretty good success rate in overtime, but it's tough. I would say, like, as a player, it's the easiest because you kind of you're playing the game. You don't really realize it's overtime. Obviously, it's like crunch time, but like and especially in a championship game or something, the whole game is like that. So it's kind of just a continuation of the game. Coaches, it's hard because there's nothing you could do about it to change it. So
Right.
it's like, I mean, along with like the rest of the game, obviously, like you just trust that your players are doing what you kind of taught them or what you worked on all year. I mean, Coach Ed and I just went to nationals, so it's kind of like we're standing on the bench, like we want them to like almost like I want to have like a controller in my hand and like control them with like a joystick, but you can't do that.
Exactly.
So that's hard. That's definitely really hard as coaches to just stand there and just like whatever happens. There's really nothing we could do except choose the right players to put out, I guess.
That's the hard part to me is like you don't know if you should shorten the bench because if you shorten the bench and it goes a long time, you're wearing the guys down. Is that going to cause you to lose? So it's a tough situation in your mind. Like when can I put out certain players at the right time? And those decisions are hard. I'm sure at the NHL level, you talk about pressure. It's got to be crazy on their mind.
And a player could be having a horrible game, and all of a sudden he could score the game winner. So should you be sitting him on the bench? That's a tough situation for sure.
Is that the Keandre Miller third star that you just explained there?
Yep, the Keandre Miller or the old Panarin, not anymore.
Right.
Panarin gives us a full 60 now all of a sudden.
Yeah, let's talk Panarin. So 5 goals in his last 2 games against Boston and Florida, 2 top Eastern opponents. He's up to 99 points on the year, 43 goals, on pace for 50 goals. First, do you think he gets to 50? Do you think he makes that pace? And second, is him scoring all these goals against Boston and Florida, does that make you feel confident that he'll be able to carry his play this season into the playoffs? Liz, let's go to you first.
Yes and yes. Yes, 100%. I think Panarin's on fire, and I don't see that there'd be any reason why he wouldn't be able to continue this into the playoffs. Obviously, he and Laviolette have bonded in some kind of way. Like this is working for him. Whatever Laviolette's system is really working. So I can't imagine that there'd be a scenario where he's a disappointment in the playoffs like in previous years.
Do you think Laviolette designed his system around Panarin, or do you think Panarin fits into Laviolette's system?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what the system is. All I keep hearing referred to is a system. And I also heard that he has team hugs at the end of every practice. So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
Laviolette does?
Yes, that's what I heard. Oh. In between all the cursing, I heard that there's team hugs. But
whatever works.
Either way, maybe
just out of curiosity,
where'd you
hear that from?
I read it somewhere. I will try to find the source. It was in an actual article that was written by a real person. It was not
a
real journalist.
You can tell they're big on hugs. Look at their routine. You can tell.
They hear a lot of
writers and Vanagad hug every shift, guys.
And Trocheck, they're all into it.
And have you seen what Kreider's been doing with Rempe, where he put his glove on the stick? Yeah, it's cute. So it's cute. You can tell that there's bonding. I will find it.
I agree.
Find a picture for you, and I will send it to you. But either way, Laviolette obviously is able to adapt. He's obviously able to coach a number of different kinds of players and make it work. So I feel like either way, it's thriving.
That's why we saw that article. That's why he's the winningest American-born coach.
Because of the hugs.
We saw the article before the season, right? Panarin shaves his hair in Russian translation, it said to get rid of the demons that were living in his hair or whatever. He was really upset with his play in the postseason. And whatever it is, it worked. But as Coach Ed said, he could score 150 points in the regular season. He's got to do it in the playoffs or Rangers fans aren't going to forgive him. That's just going to be his legacy is he can't get it done in April. So let's see what he does.
But it's working for a lot of the guys. Like clearly, like Miller went through something a couple of months ago where he took some time off and came back better than ever. I mean, I was not the biggest Miller fan for a long time.
Neither are we.
He's really.
Well, I like Miller.
Now I do.
I'm a Keandre fan. They're not really a big fan of him.
I struggle with him.
He's
First
got
of all,
potential.
Right.
with Panarin's biggest difference is he's not doing those neutral zone cross ice giveaways.
Yeah, the
Pucks are getting
twirly,
in the
twirly.
zone.
Yeah,
I know, and he's not
dumping
spinning
it
as
in.
much, so
He's dumping it in more. His puck management is better, and that's where Laviolette and that all-star coaching staff has come in.
I
And
think
he's cutting
kinda-
to the middle.
he's shooting more, because remember in the beginning of the season he would break away in there, but he wouldn't shoot. He wouldn't have that opportunity. He would end up passing it back. I never understood that, but now that's changed. In fact, I'm loving their shots. Like even Kreider's, like I didn't even like the fact that he's taking that shot from the same point every time, but now he's moved in and he gets those shots off and they're working better for him. And so I'm just, all they got to do is just shift over, like a foot to the left or the foot to the right, and they'll wake up. I mean, that's what I've been seeing is like everyone wants Kreider to wake up and Mika. But one of the things I've always loved about this team, and I think this is a key going in, is keep the consistency. But we have one of the most versatile teams in the league, and that's what I like. All of us can score. I love the games where 8 of the players get points, 5 score, and I don't see any other teams doing that so much. So that shows we can take anything.
It's a deep team, and to your point, Panarin this year has 256 shots on goal. His previous career high was 6 years ago, 228. So he's blown past his previous career high in shots on goal, and that's also led to a higher shooting percentage.
Look at everybody complains in the beginning of the season how bad they suck, and they still break all these milestones every week. So
It's true. That's why I said last episode, I'm just going to be positive from now on. I'm not going to complain about Goodrow and this and that. I'm just not going to do it. It's not worth it. The team is great. They're in first place. They're battling for the President's Trophy. Maybe they'll break my heart in the playoffs. We'll see. But
you haven't truly loved until you
so
got your
sad.
heart broken. So
I know.
it's a good year. I don't even see that in the future. This is a great year, and their biggest issue was inconsistency. Do you feel that they've kind of patched that factor that was, a negative? Like that was what I was hearing is the biggest, and that's where I see it in the stats and the odds.
I mean, as a team, no. We kind of touched on it before. Even if when they lose, they find a way to bounce back, or if they're down in a game, they're off to a rough start. They always at least finish the game strong. What game was it where they were down? Like they were down pretty hard, and they still ended up losing, but they at least played up until the end and made it like 5-3. Was it Winnipeg?
Yeah, it was 4. It was 3-1, and they got the empty.
Yes.
Net.
And then Winnipeg got the empty net, which made it like 5-3 again or whatever it was. So things like that. It shows where they find ways. Like they find ways to win. Like you just touched on, they have a million different ways to win. They can outskill teams. We've seen lately they can outmuscle teams. I was thinking earlier we have tickets to the Devils game in April 3rd, I think it is. And I'm just looking forward to maybe the Rangers just bullying them, just wiping them clean with the ice. So
look,
I was just thinking that earlier. So
in light of the comments that they had last time, because of Rempe, like how do you think that's going to go? I think it's going to be a little dirty, especially if they're not in the playoffs.
I hope Trouba's in for that game.
Yeah, they'll be playing desperate.
That was kind of a scary comment that talking about taking someone else out. So I'm going to keep an eye on that game.
I think he's going to behave himself for the rest of the season. What I was saying before is I think as a team, consistency is not a problem, but individually, there's a few things that they still need to address. I mean, Cousin Ed and I kind of switched roles recently. I'm being a little negative as of late, but I was at the game on Saturday and I saw a lot of it's a lot different going to the game, and we sit up on the balcony. So Coach Ed and I like to analyze like everything or watch what you don't see on TV. You don't see the plays behind behind the camera and stuff like that. You don't see that on TV. So when I'm there, I could pick out players and just see like specific little plays that they're not making. And so, I mean, there's definitely some holes in the lineup and some things that we need to patch up, and hopefully they're able to turn it into full gear for the playoffs. But like players like Kreider and Mika, like there's no excuse for them not to play every single game. Panarin's doing it. Trocheck's doing it. There's just no reason. They have to find a way to be effective no matter what. And they don't really do that very often lately.
Tell you
So
what, if they turn it on in the playoffs, all is forgiven.
That's what I'm saying. We'll see. Hey,
It
if they're saving their
been
energy. Yeah, shout out to
That's what I
Joey, one of
say.
our. Yeah, shout
I'm
out to
like,
Joey,
throw
one
them
of our
off a little,
fans.
throw them off, and then turn it up.
Yeah.
I'm Team Kreider. I have my shirt somewhere. So
Yeah, shout out to Joey. He has a conspiracy theory that Meek is taking it easy on purpose to save his energy for the playoffs. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I hope that's the case.
Interesting.
I don't disagree with that. Or look, you kind of see that. And the other thing I'm seeing is the upped defense of all these teams we're playing. Right, and they all seem to be the same. And we have to, once we're able to break through that defense and start shooting and we score, it's good. But I feel like some of these games, it's a struggle to break through that.
Yeah.
And so
that definitely on Saturday early on, the Panthers were kind of bullying them a little bit, hitting them, finishing every check. The Rangers were shying away from a lot of hits behind the play, like I was saying, and Rempe all of a sudden was running around the ice, and the game kind of shifted. It was noticeable that the Panthers defensemen were literally afraid to get the puck behind the net whenever Rempe was on the ice. Like they would go back for it and then just like peel off at the last second, and like Goudreau would come in and take the puck. Goudreau was throwing his body around. So if that line plays that way, and the third line the same thing, they can make some noise for sure. Like I said, they can play any way. Like it started out early, and they learned their lesson very quick that they had to make those adjustments. And they came out in the second period, a lot different team, and they controlled most of the rest of the game.
Yeah, not take stupid penalties also, because that I think has been
that's killing me
this year.
Yeah.
Every game.
A lot of them are, I don't know, a lot of the penalties, some of the penalties on Saturday were iffy calls. There's a lot of weak calls. So hopefully in the playoffs they don't call a lot of that little stuff, but we'll see.
I think
we say that every year, right? But at least they always find a way to frustrate us, those zebras.
I wish they would just put Rempe in front of the goal, like just go, and that's like
he was there all night.
Yeah,
that's his role.
Sure.
Yeah, that's his role.
So my son is 6'7" and played just like that.
Jesus,
and just put him right there. So and he was effective. They called him the finisher. So I'm like, this is what I want to see from Rempe, watching him. And unless, I think I was texting Liz the other day against Boston. I'm like, I wish he would just like lose control of his arms and go after Marchand accidentally.
Yeah. Clip him in the nose.
Didn't happen.
The wacky inflatable tube, man.
That was hard. In my mind, it was a good play, and it was fantastic. So
I would not be surprised if he hangs out with Kreider more next year and he starts learning how to make deflections.
Yeah,
because he seems like he's that coachable kind of player, and I think he's going to want to learn and he's going to want to stay. So that's my hope.
Yeah, he's still young and gangly. He's fun to watch, though.
Yeah, he's like a puppy.
He's getting Rempe jerseys.
He's like a puppy who's like still trying to like learn how to use their body and like oh, I have hands, like I have paws, like it's really interesting to watch. And I think he is very immensely coachable because they were asking him about not going after, I think it was one of the Devils. I think it was one of the Devils where he said, I had my orders. I had my orders. I'm not going to do it. So he's not going to shy. He's going to do what he's told. And obviously it's been very effective because they had him scare everybody for the first couple of games. Then they told him to pull back, but great. Like if Florida was scared of him, then that's exactly what should happen. That's awesome to hear.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Well, Kachuk said between periods. I don't know if you guys heard it. Emily Kaplan, your girl interviewed him between periods, and he said we don't have anybody that's going to fight him, so it's not going to be a matter of the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just if he continues that, we're going to have fun during the playoffs. Just put him out there and act like let him scare everybody. Although West Coast is so physical, so I like that we have physicality now. Feels like we've never really did, 2-3 years ago, we weren't, a lot of the, East Coast teams weren't like that. But when it comes to playing in the finals, and watching the Kings, I go back to 2012 when they just, went through and rallied through everything and won from last place team and down 3 games, against the Sharks. So I always say any East Coast team needs that level of physicality to play a West Coast team in the finals. So
for sure.
I think we're right where we want to be, and and let's get Truba back and keep everybody healthy. Fingers crossed. Yeah. That's what scares me the most. So this is where I get nervous is these last few games and in the desperation of the other teams. And we've seen a lot of dirty plays, and I don't like it. So if we can manage to,
that's hockey.
Well,
unfortunately.
Look, I mean, you got Tom Wilson, who just got some suspensions. Finally would be nice to see. Yeah, it's like they're finally he needed that years ago, right? So
yeah.
And I always laugh since you have former thugs evaluating their suspensions.
Exactly, that is funny.
Doesn't make any sense to me. I'm like, let me do that.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. It was awesome to have you on. No, it was awesome.
A lot of fun.
Great. Yeah,
we have another fun week. We got the Flyers tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Oh man.
Let's see. How many times do you think the camera's going to go on Tortorella where he's yelling? All right, make it a drinking game, okay?
There you go.
Over under 6. Over under 6 on that.
I can't wait.
Make sure you tag us in your drink post from now on so I can repost them for you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having us. And Coach Ed, also, congratulations to you on your award. That's awesome to hear about and following you guys.
Congratulations.
That is great news.
Yeah.
You guys want to plug anything before you go? You mentioned some of your watch parties before.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be doing stuff once the playoffs start. Check us out on Instagram at Double D-Fense. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Check us out there because we will be doing watch parties for anybody in Southern California. And then I think Christine's probably going to make her way back east at some point. I'm hoping to, but it depends on a number of things.
You got to spell it out for the audio. It's at double_DFENSE. That's your Instagram.
Thank you.
You guys also have a Twitter, right?
We do have a Twitter. It's at Double D-Fense NYR. I definitely post things that pop into my brain during the game. So some of them might be a little bit more controversial. So please check us out there too.
Yeah, and just where you see a difference real quick. So we started out, we're New York Ranger fans, but we definitely are learning to broaden out. And we probably should have said more in the beginning too. And this is why we like you guys too, the perspective of of how we see things, just from like you in the upper section to us watching it from a bird's eye view on TV. The perspective is great. So we give this all female perspective to the sport, and we keep broadening it out.
That's scary in itself.
I know. But we're following the PWHL. We like to kind of give them shout outs too. It's been great to watch their first season, and some college hockey we want to get into. Yeah. A shout out to UNLV, who made it to the Division I finals for the first time ever in their school history. So, which is my son's school. So we try to keep broadening it out. So we're dropping the NYR, broadening our horizons here, and and kind of reporting throughout the NHL and as well as some of the other leagues too. It's all been really super fun to kind of learn and grow. And again, as Liz said in the beginning, and meeting, a new family of friends each time, we do something. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yay. So thank you again for having us. And until next time.
Yeah.
Rangers.
We love to join you again. And,
I know I'll have decorated next time.
You have to.
We'll be in touch.
Bye.
Have a great night, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
All right, that was Liz and Christine from the Double D-Fense podcast. Check them out on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, all that, and also on Instagram at double_DFENSE and on Twitter at double DFENSENYR. All right, so let's jump into, I think after that, we could just jump right into the stars of the week unless there's another thing. Oh, wait. Before we do, Little Ed, Coach Ed during the intro wanted you to derail the episode and talk about the warm-ups at the Panthers-Rangers game on Saturday. So let's do that now. Before he brings it up during, stars of the week or something, did you have a chance to see the warm-up at the Panthers-Rangers game?
Yes, we did see the warm-up section, 120, I think you're allowed to go down. And then, of course, you have, the worst luck ever. So, you sit in someone else's seat thinking, what are the chances of them coming to this seat out of all of them?
Uh-huh.
And it happened to us, no exaggeration, 4 times.
So
within the matter of like 10, 15 minutes. So finally, I was just like, let's just go up to our seats, like whatever. So we went up to the seats, and yeah, it was just an electric game. Like I said before, they came out a little slow. It was a little ugly at first. A lot of like small plays I noticed. I was able to definitely pay closer attention, like you're not able to see on TV. And like that goal in the second period was very disappointing. They got the puck deep at the start of the second, like they should do. And then there was just like no forecheck at all. And the Panthers came up ice and buried that 2-on-1. And I pretty much called it as soon as it happened. I was like, well, there you go. Here, like as soon as there was no forecheck, the Panthers had like a free out of the zone somehow. I was like, oh, that's how it happens. And Lindsay was like, wow, you called that. So it was just little small plays like that. I'm not trying to be negative. It's just small plays like that are really going to bite you in the playoffs. You can't make those mistakes.
Well, the reason why that happened is we'll touch on it in Coach's Corner, preview.
Right. Yeah, so Coach's Corner, definitely stay tuned.
The Winnipeg game was brutal as far as that goes. They had a chance to win that game. But
yeah,
listen,
so
it's a long season. No team is perfect. All right. There's going to be breakdowns in the play. They're going to give up goals. Overall, I think the Rangers played a pretty good game against Florida, especially after they went down 2-0. I thought they really turned the tide in that game and took it to Florida. Particularly Fox and Panarin and Trocheck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those three were really taking it to Florida. And that's a team that we haven't beaten this year. The Rangers haven't beaten Florida this year, so they wanted to win that game. They really wanted to make a statement that they're the best team in the East. And, I think you got to be happy after that game. I know there's little things that, Kreider's floating around, Zibanejad's floating around. They drive me crazy too. Don't get me wrong. They sure as hell
of course.
drive me crazy.
That's what I was getting at. Whereas they were able to turn the play around. Kreider and Zibby are just you can obviously see it on TV, but you could see it even more in person. Whereas like everyone's flying around and they're just a step behind. Kakko played horrible that game. I mean, I'm a big fan of Kakko, but he did not have a good game. The third goal was like directly his fault. He like left his point man completely wide open, and like you could tell like he just like nonchalantly went to go get it, and the play was over. But at that point, so yeah, like I said, there was small plays, but the fourth line, like I said before, with Double D-Fense, those guys were running around just making noise. Gaudreau, yeah, his contract sucks, but he's a big part of that team. He's playing 110% every single shift. He's running around, hitting, forecheck, getting things to happen. A lot of the times the fourth line was out there causing offensive zone faceoffs, and then they would throw out the Trocheck line or whatever, and then they would establish offensive zone control, and that was a big part of dominating that game. So shout out to the fourth line. And, yeah, they were able to play a few different ways. They got out-muscled in the first half of the game, and then they out-muscled Florida in the second half of the game. So
I think
it was nice to see. Go ahead.
I think they missed Cooley in that game. I mean, I love Johnny Brodzinski as well, but I think if they had Cooley on that third line, I think the physicality wouldn't have been so dominant by Florida in the first period.
I thought he played well.
No, I'm not saying he didn't play well, but I just think they need that body that's going to go in. You need two lines of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so what Laviolette said, Coach, on that, and it's a good point because I was a little confused. Cooley hasn't missed a game last season.
I know. Yeah.
No, I'm not telling you. I'm telling the fans that are listening.
Oh.
It's something to talk about. So Laviolette says, I wish I could play 13 forwards. I can't. I want to rotate the bottom six, pretty much, rotate them in and out for the rest of the season. I think he's just trying to get different looks and see what he wants to go with in the playoffs. So it looks like, to Little Ed's point on Kakko's play, Kakko's the one to sit out next game based on the practice lines. I mean, who knows? But they had Brodzinski in Kakko's spot, Cooley, Rempe, and Gaudreau on the fourth line, VC, Wenberg, and Brodzinski on the third line. I don't expect that to last more than one game. I expect
VC
after that
too.
somebody else gets a game off. So
yeah, no, it's good that they're rotating that for sure. And then what else was I going to say about? Oh, shout out to our buddy that always sits next to us. He's got the season tickets. I won't say his name in case he doesn't want me to, but there was like this group of guys in front of us. There was two guys sitting in front of us, and then like two guys a couple seats to the left of us, and then like 3 or 4 guys like up on the bar stools over here. So I think they were on like a bachelor party or something because they were all wasted, and they probably bought like last minute seats trying to sit as close to each other as they could. The whole game, the guys in front of us are like standing up, like taking pictures of the guy sitting over here and stuff. So our buddy, I say to Lindsay, I'm like, don't worry, the guy next to us will take care of it if this keeps up or whatever. Without hesitation, the guy just turns to me and goes, these guys better not be doing this the whole game because I'll take care of it. He didn't hear what I said. He just like said it to Lindsay also. Like a second later, it was hysterical. And then he goes on to tell us, he goes, yeah, I'll just go grab a packet of mustard. And while he's standing up, I'll just put it on his seat while he's standing up. And we were just losing our minds the whole time. That guy's hilarious. He's so good.
I had a conversation
boy.
with him about he was back in the blue seats back in '94 and stuff.
Yeah, he's
He's telling me stories. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's a good time to sit next to for sure. He's a knowledgeable. He definitely played when he was younger. He's knowledgeable of the game and stuff. So it's good that we have like a little connection with our season ticket holders, and we're not sitting to someone that's like annoying and a little out of control, you know. So
Yeah.
it was a fun game to be at, no doubt.
Big win, big win. All right, let's move on to our stars of the week. All right, this will be a fun week to do this. Offensive player of the week. We're going to start with Mikey Produces because I realized listening to the last episode that I go to you almost last almost every time. You know, so
good.
I don't know why I do
I don't
that.
mind it.
I'm not sure. I know. I just feel bad. So I'm going to you first here for offensive player of the week.
I have yet to change this on my board. I'm going with Artemi Panarin. 5 goals in these last 3 games. I mean, there's just nothing you can say.
Yeah.
And he's saving me some ink.
I also took the bread man with his 5 goals in 2 games, plus a shootout winner. Coach Ed, who'd you take?
I got Brett also. I mean, he's just getting the puck luck. He's doing everything right. His decisions are right, throwing pucks at the net when he needs to, and it's just going his way right now.
Little Ed.
I mean, wait, excuse me 1 second. In that Boston game, they shut out Pasternak and Brett got the hat trick, even though it was an empty net or whatever. He outshined Pasternak, who's ahead of him in points, right? And actually, I think they said Pasternak has 100 more shots than Panarin this year.
Wow.
I think they said that during the game.
That's an interesting fact.
I don't think he has more points than him. I think Panarin's 4th in the league behind McDavid, Kucherov, and McKinnon.
Or maybe goals. He's got more goals.
Yeah, I just checked, Coach. They both have 99 points, both players. So he's tied for 4th with Pasternak. So,
well, he did have more points before that game.
Yep, makes sense. Nikita Kucherov has 123 points. Anyway, sorry. Little Ed, who's your offensive player of the week?
I went Panarin as well. Easy pick.
Yeah. I mean, very easy pick. All right. Defensive player of the week, Little Ed. Hit us.
I went with Jones. I was very impressed with his gameplay as of late. I've said it before. He took a huge corner. Took a turn around I don't know, whatever. Took a big turn.
He turned the corner.
I don't know. Can't turn left like I can't turn left either. No, he's just been playing awesome. He's definitely mature. You could tell, like in just everything about him, the way he plays, the way he looks, everything, the way he carries himself on the ice, gets a little gritty if he has to. Just wanted to give him some love this week. Sometimes
he had a great game against Boston. That Boston game I was very excited about.
And Florida too. He plays awesome.
Yeah.
He's great on the blue line, like Fox. He can walk the blue line really well. He makes those nice little plays with his footwork.
Not just that, I noticed him get hit a few times behind the net, retrieving pucks after a dump in, and he just bounced off it. He's accepting the check. He's not afraid to get hit. That really, I think, is a turning point.
His body, yeah.
If he does that, if he develops that way where he can take checks and still make the play, then he can stick in the league. That's
I mentioned that bad play he had against Malkin, and it seems like that was kind of just an outlier because I didn't really notice that much when I was there on Saturday and or on TV really. So
yeah, I mean, look, I went with Foxy. For me, he was a key player, like turning point of the game against Florida is Fox. Fox on the power play, Fox making a play, Fox creating space, Fox with a shifty little deke, Fox playing, blocking shots. Like he's just been playing great. So, I mean, I never really pick Fox. I was going through and I'm like, I really avoid him a lot. I pick goalies and whatnot, but he deserves it. I think he's been really stepping up in the last 2 weeks. Coach.
I got Foxy also. That goal against Florida. It's like I was talking with Eddie the other day. They kept saying like, oh, he just picked the corner on the goalie, but I think he has that way of pushing the puck like he's shooting it or passing it, pulling it back and changing like within. It's unbelievable. It's like on his stick, but it's not just like a little chopping onions. It goes like all the way forward then back. So
it's like an upper body fake.
Yeah, he did that. I think Swayman kind of leaned towards Kreider because Kreider had his position on his man in front, and that left a short side open.
Bobrovsky.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Against Florida. And it left a short side open, and he just put it right there. I mean, it was brilliant. And he's just got that way about him. And again, when you watch McAvoy in the Boston game, not even close as far as puck handle. Not even close.
No, and you see Bobrovsky move, right? He moved as if he thought Fox was passing it. So he totally bid on whatever Fox did, whatever it was. Right. I can't even tell. He completely bid.
It's crazy.
When he's on, he just sees every part of the ice. Like it's wild.
Yeah, I went with Foxy too for all the reasons you guys just spoke about.
All right, Foxy Cleopatra, 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 for Fox.
Ed, now you got to draw Beyonce. You got to draw Beyonce on the screen next time with Fox's face in it.
All right, let's go to the Key Contributor Award. I'm going to go to Coach Ed to start this one.
Actually, no, I'll save it. Go ahead, keep going.
All right, Key Contributor Award, Coach. Who you got?
I went with Quickie in that Boston game. I thought that was big. Big morality boost for the team. Tough position to be in. I mean, any game they played was tough. But again, as the backup or second goalie, number 2 goalie, whatever you want to call him, to be in that position and shine, I thought it was great.
Yeah, for sure. Mikey, who you got?
Giving it to Jonesy. Little Ed touched on it, giving him Defensive Player of the Week. But like you were saying, I think he's starting to play smart with his body. He's avoiding big checks, and he knows how to absorb these hits. And he's just, fantastic to watch, especially when he has the puck on his stick. So Jones for me.
Yeah, I like that. I went with Trocheck. For me, he could win this award every week. The way he's had the season he's had, 69 points, 71 games. It's not just the points, it's the playmaking. It's not just that. It's the forechecking. You look at his box score every game, 2 assists, +1, 2 shots, 4 hits, a block, 2 takeaways, every game. Every game, it's the same lines for him. So he really as good as Panarin. Yeah, and faceoffs, exactly, on the power play. So as good as Panarin has been this season, Coach, last week you said, would Panarin be as good without Trocheck? I think that's an interesting question. I do. I thought about it a little bit after you said it because I kind of scoffed at it at first, but he really does open things up for that line. And when you got guys like Lafreniere and Panarin who can play with the puck and pass across the ice like they do, he's really just got to be the gritty player in the middle that gives them space to do that, and he's going to benefit. And he is. He's got 7. He's almost
if you watch
because of that.
Again, if you watch him play without the puck in that Boston game and Florida, he'll see that Panarin is looking to pass to someone else, and he'll get in the way of the other team's player to open up that lane. He does all those little things those annoying
Yep.
things that no one notices. I mean, coaches are going to notice it for sure, but I'm saying the average fan doesn't notice, but that leads
Yep.
to things happening, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's such a key player for this team, and I mean, it's crazy. If you told me Trocheck would have 8 more points than Zibanejad before the season started, I'd be like, get the hell out of here. You know, that's crazy.
Yeah, right.
So just goes to show you. Little Ed, who you got as your key contributor?
I went with Goody. I had Trocheck written down, but kind of like you said, he could win the award every week, so I wanted to give Goody some love. Might be a little bit of recency bias because I saw him live, like I was just saying, but he just doesn't get nearly that amount of love. You know, like he's not paid to score goals. He's on the fourth line, third or fourth line. He's a leader. He wears the A every other game or almost every game. He's obviously a big part of the team, and he goes out there and flies around the ice. If he's not going to score, he's still a very effective player. You know, so obviously he's overpaid. Not going to take that away, but he's a key part of this team, and he's going to prove it in the playoffs. I'm sure he's going to have a big goal or two in the playoffs. And this is what put me over the edge with our buddy season tickets. I thought he was going to say something bad about Goudreau not putting up some points, and he was like, "Nah, man, I love Goudreau. We'll wake up in the playoffs. Don't worry." So I was just like, "All right, you're good. You're good in my book, buddy." And I could tell you actually watched the game. So shout out to that. And yeah, I like watching the guy play. He's a hockey player.
Well,
I
watched the
just-
games, and I don't agree with you. So maybe you would hate me if I sat in front of you.
It's not all about points.
I just go back to the playoff run they had a couple of years ago. Remember when we were in the beer garden and all of a sudden his face came on the screen? He was hurt, and then they ended up beating Tampa, and it was just great. That's the presence.
Yeah. The part I agree with you on about Goudreau is that his real value to this team is in the playoffs. So, you know, how he, again, for so many guys on this team, it comes down to this. So it's kind of cliche at this point. But how he does in the playoffs is really all that matters, right? That's the reason Chris Drury acquired him. He didn't acquire him to put up points in the regular season. Right. So yeah, we'll see and also, you know, you made this point a couple of episodes ago, so I'll give this to him as well as kind of like an excuse. That thing that happened in his jaw, they never fully explained that injury, and that's pretty bad. I mean, he had like his jaw was like shredded through a blender. He was drinking out of a straw. He had a full shield on for like 20 games.
For like a month. Yeah.
I mean,
he was eating nothing but liquid for like a month.
Yeah.
And still playing every other night, you know. And yeah, I mean, that doesn't make an excuse where he can't put a few pucks in the net, but you know, he's playing his ass off no matter what. And
he's played better since Rempe's been up. I'll say that. Since Rempe's been up,
playoffs,
he's been rejuvenated a little bit.
Playoffs are won and lost by the third and fourth line. You think about it, the first and second lines are more often than not neutralized on both sides. You know, third and fourth line players are going to win you games in the playoffs.
Yeah, I feel like they're won by that, but you'll lose the playoffs by your first line. If your first line doesn't like match the other team's first line, that could lose you the series. You know,
the top two lines have to neutralize each other for the most part, except for like power plays and stuff. But then your penalty killers, your third or fourth line grinders, forechecking. Johnny Labs mentioned it on the other team. You need those players that are going to wear the other teams down. Yeah. And Goudreau's one of those players. Is he overpaid for one of those players? Certainly. But he's going to be one of those players going to give 100% no matter how much money he makes.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot take in Ranger land.
Bring it on, bring it on.
Last thing on Goudreau, and then we'll move on to the highlight play. Coach, this is for you on Goudreau. We should have brought this up in the topics. Goudreau this year is -10. I find that odd. He's like on the ice with the lead in the last 2 minutes of the game. He plays the whole you know. You think that has something to do with it? Maybe he's on in high pressure situations, so he's on for goals against. Is it the quality of his line mates throughout the year?
I mean, he's been having different line mates all the time. He did go through a run where he was getting beat up a little bit. I don't know. That's a tough one. I never really analyze that. There's got to be variables involved if he's -10 because he's usually very good defensively responsible. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I don't
crazy.
see that.
By contrast, Keandre is +9, so like something's off here. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking. I don't know what I'm talking about. I guess.
All right.
That's what
let's
I
move
said.
on.
I said that at the game. Everyone says how bad he is defensively. He's out there with less than a minute left every period and every game.
They love him.
Penalty killing. It's just like, what am I watching?
He's been better lately. Keandre's been better. Plus, the team is depleted a little bit on the back end. So I mean,
horrible on the penalty kill. Horrible on the penalty kill.
All right, Coach.
Very indecisive.
Coach, give me your highlight play of the week.
I mean, as much as I love Foxy's little goal I talked about before, I got to give it to Zibby's shootout goal. I literally jumped out of my seat.
Me too.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
You gave the same one, Little Ed?
I was going to say the combo of the Panarin and Zibby shootout goal, because the Garden was just electric when those two pucks went in. You know, I was just I was saying, someone asked me earlier today on one of my job sites if I like the shootout or not. And I said, in person, it's awesome. It's so much fun to watch. It's very, very intense, but on TV, it kind of sucks. But being at the game on Saturday, it was a lot of fun. And the Garden's reaction just made it amazing.
Mikey.
I went with Mikko's shootout goal as well.
All right, Mika's shootout goal. I didn't go with any of the shootouts. I went with the Panarin tying goal against Florida to make it 2-2, not the 3-3 one. The Fox Trocheck Panarin one-timer, like a minute after the power play, where they cut it from 2-0 to 2-1. And then the quick 2-2 goal right after that, and the shot, there was a rocket. That was a huge goal and just a really exciting goal to watch. So I went with that one. The other goal, his other goal, I could have picked, but like just for the sheer luck of having it ricochet off two players' legs and go into the net like pinball. It's like crazy. Yeah. All right. Now it's time for Coach Ed's Doghouse, sponsored by Suitor Sweet Treats. I can't with the hot dog What is that?
The latest drawing that Tennessee Meg just slipped into, I guess the last cookie order that I had. And I forgot about it until you guys just quoted Foxy Cleopatra. So,
oh my God!
Shout out to Tennessee Meg. If you want a custom drawing, she could do that too, not just cookies. So, you got Austin Powers here.
That's hilarious.
She's like, you guys are the only ones that quote Austin Powers more than me and Michelle do. So, I thought that was fun.
Oh man, that movie is so good. It's so good. All of them. I'm just like, my head is swimming with quotes right now, so I can't even. I'm trying to like focus here. Coach, all right. SuitorsweetTreats.net. Check them out and check them out on Instagram.
No more website. No more website. Just Instagram. Oh, they got rid of the website.
Okay, yeah. Instagram and Etsy. Check them out. Suitor Sweet Treats. Use code EDPOD. Get 10% off your order and a free Doghouse cookie. Those are really nice Doghouse cookies. All right, Coach. In your Doghouse last week, there was not a single player. 2-1-0 record here in these 3 games. Who's in the Doghouse?
Well, I hate to disappoint everybody and appreciate everything Meg does for us in the sponsorship, but it's empty again.
What?
Okay. I do not hate that, but I want to know why.
I just love the Winnipeg game was a little tough, but they were right there. Hellebuck played a Vezina type of game. I just love the way they've been playing for 3 games. Watching the games, they started off a little slow in a couple of games, but they just bounced back. They're playing hard. They're making, I don't know. It's just exciting to watch. They're playing
It's just
really
they're
good
just a
hockey.
good team. They're a good team.
Yeah.
So even when those some guys we can criticize their performances, I think another guy steps up when that happens, or vice versa. So I hear you, Coach. I hear you. I did not have an empty doghouse this week, but we'll get there in a second. Let's go to Mikey Producies.
I am putting both Mika and Kreider in the doghouse.
And me
it
and
all
Mike
just comes down.
agree. Me and
It just
Mike
comes down to
agree.
effort, man. I just need to see some effort, skating hard
Yeah.
to these loose pucks. Like, I don't know.
Kreider's a Banajad. That's it. I'm tired of it. All season it's like this. I mean, Kreider's been good for a lot of the season, but the Banajad is I don't know what he's doing out there, man. I mean, he has a goal and 2 assists in 3 games. It's an empty net goal. It's a secondary assist on the power play. It's like not really an impactful play. He shies away from contact every time he has the puck. He literally coughs it up to just not get hit. He does not forecheck. He just tries to get a rush chance. He looks for a 2-on-1 with Kreider. That's all he does. That's all he does. Hopefully that changes in the playoffs. Hopefully. We need him to. But it's annoying. Little Ed.
I was gonna put down Kreider and Mika, but I just put down Kreider, basically for everything that you guys just said. But the main thing is like Kreider. I don't want to say Mika has an excuse, but it's a lot harder for Mika to be effective if he's not scoring or making good plays on the power play and stuff. Kreider's that type of player where, like I just said about Goudreau, he could be effective no matter what. He's such a big body. He could forecheck. He's fast. He has a good shot. But he just, like you just said, he tries to make these plays. Every time he touches the puck, he just looks up to find Mika to, like, break him out of his slump or something. It's like, just play hockey. It drives me nuts watching him play. You joked about it the other day about him, like, turning around and trying to give Panarin the puck and stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
We're not joking. Like, it's obvious when he's playing the game. Like, see, I keep saying it, but seeing it in person just magnified it so much where it's like every time he touches the puck, he's just trying to get it to Mika, the 2-on-1s and stuff. They made a beautiful play on that 2-on-1, but like, why didn't Mika just shoot that? Like, I feel like he could have sniped, and they're both of them are thinking pass first, and it's starting to get really frustrating. And I can't
Take
imagine
a pass, take a shot, shoot for a rebound. I mean, there's a million things he could do on that play.
I can't imagine what the coaches are saying to them behind the scenes, but they got to do something. They got to change up their game, and juggling the lines isn't the answer, because I said that in a recent episode too. It's just going to make another line worse because they're not doing it right now.
Yeah,
And
little
like
Ed, let me ask you
it's very
this.
easy for Kreider to be effective.
You gave Mika an excuse because you said Kreider is big and he's that kind of guy who should be effective. Mika is 6'2", 201 pounds. That's not small.
I don't believe he's 201 pounds.
He's a big guy. He should be in the forecheck.
Yeah.
He's a big guy.
He's definitely got that weight.
You think Zibanejad has 20 pounds on you?
On me? Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got 2 inches. That's like 5-10 pounds right there. It's just the inches.
I don't know. You see him in interviews and stuff. He seems a little scrawny unless he's got some huge legs, but I don't think so.
Kreider, by contrast, is 230.
That's believable. He's a moose.
Yeah, he's 230. So, I mean,
look at Kreider's third period when they were controlling the puck down low. No one could get the puck away from him. Why can't I said it like 100 times? Someone tell Kreider just to play like this every shift, please. He was controlling the puck. He was playing like. Go ahead.
I don't know what takes so long for him to figure that out. It is frustrating.
He boxes out like Yager used to do. He's just a huge body. When he has the puck behind the net and he plays with some grit, no one can get the puck from him. It's like night and day. It's crazy.
I still think that is a little bit. It has to do with the Carey Price incident in 2014. I really do. No, I do, because before that, Hockey Reference has his nickname as Big Jet No Pilot. So I think we're forgetting a time where Kreider was just kind of a little reckless out there, and he was this big, fast, physical guy, and then kind of pulled back and stopped doing that. I don't know.
Yeah, but like even
he hasn't
with
been
the puck,
that way
I'm not
since.
saying the hard forechecks only. It's like with the puck, without the puck. It's just like it. And I said it to, I forget who I said it to, but it's like almost like he doesn't want to score 50 ever again. Every chance he gets with an empty netter, he looks to pass. Like he did it the other night to get Panarin the empty netter, I think. He skated through the neutral zone. There wasn't a defender near him, and he made a pass across ice that almost got intercepted, and luckily it didn't, and Panarin put it in. It's like, just put the puck in the net and finish the game.
Yeah, I know.
It's so frustrating. It's like he doesn't want goals anymore. It's like
he's a team first guy. I get it comes from a good place. But I think about Kreider. I think about Kreider though, little Ed, and like Kreider's he's the only Ranger really left who's been to the finals, been to the Eastern Conference Finals multiple times. He's had a taste of almost doing it. He understands the playoff grind. I mean, I gotta think game one, it's a different Kreider. Zibanejad worries me. Kreider, I gotta think he's gonna be there game one. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. Last year against the Devils, after the first 2 games, he took the playoffs off. I don't know. That's
true. The whole team did,
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see.
Well, Doghouse, Zibanejad, Kreider, and then Coach Ed with the empty Doghouse. He's loving Zibanejad and Kreider right now, I guess.
I'm not loving it. I think they're playing. I think they have other attributes that they're filling. Their penalty kill is excellent.
That's true.
They're getting opportunities, and in 2 games, they were part of 2 really good games. Did they put pucks in the net? I would love to see them score more, obviously. But like you said before, it's a team effort. They're winning, and whatever they're doing is opening up avenues for other guys, and it's the way it goes. I don't know. Hopefully, they do get a few key ones in the playoffs. That's what we'll keep our fingers crossed for. But I'm not putting them in the doghouse.
All right. Let's turn to the Rangers Ed 150 with Mikey 150.
The trivia, it's time to throw it over to Mikey P with your Rangers Ed 150, the fastest 150 seconds in the National Hockey Podcast.
And welcome back to the Rangers Ed 150. We're getting down to the wire with roughly 12 games left for everyone, and the playoff races are getting tighter by the minute. Out west in the Pacific Division, we've had no change in the top 4 since last week, with Vancouver, Edmonton, LA, and Vegas occupying those spots in that respective order. At this point, Calgary and Seattle haven't been mathematically eliminated, but odds of them making it are practically non-existent. Real battle in this division is going to be for that second wild card spot, with Vegas holding on to it for the moment. The Golden Knights are currently sitting 4 points up on St. Louis with a game in hand on the Blues, but the 2 do meet tonight, Monday night. And then Vegas has Nashville, Winnipeg, and Minnesota for the rest of the week. Adin Hill is also currently listed as out and won't play tonight for the Golden Knights, but this doesn't seem to be anything serious, as he will hopefully join the team on their upcoming 4-game road trip. Onto the Central Divisions, where the standings are Colorado, Dallas, and Winnipeg in those playoff spots, followed by Nashville and St. Louis in the 4-5 spots. Nashville has all but cemented their playoff spot with a ridiculous 17-game point streak they're currently riding, and Winnipeg is really struggling right now, dropping their last 3 and falling 4 points out of that second place spot behind Dallas, with a game in hand on the Stars. At the top, Colorado has turned it on at the right time yet again. They are on a 9-game heater and looking like they are primed for the playoffs. On to the East and the Atlantic Division. Much like Winnipeg, Boston has also fallen off in the last couple weeks and has been looking pretty vulnerable of late. Panthers are still in that first spot ahead of Boston, and with the way they're playing relative to the Bruins, it's very likely that they will finish the season there. Toronto is 4 points ahead of Tampa for 3rd in the division with a game in hand, but these 2 teams do have 2 more head-to-heads this season, so there's still some more potential fireworks yet to come in the Atlantic. Also of note here, the Detroit Red Wings have gone from sitting comfortably in a playoff spot to going 3-8 through their last 11 and sitting a point behind the Caps for that second wild card spot, so big yikes for the Wings there. Finally, on to the Metro, where the Rangers, Canes, and Flyers are holding on to the 1 through 3 spots, respectively. That being said, Philly is only 2 points ahead of the Caps, who've been on a tear of late, 7-3-0 through their last 10, and they also have 2 games in hands over the Flyers, so very likely we see the Caps overtake them in the standings, which would leave a potential Rangers-Flyers first-round matchup. The Isles have also tanked of late, posting a 1-6-1 through their last 7 and effectively playing themselves out of a playoff spot.
That's a shame.
Much like the Flames and Kraken, they are not out yet. They do have a better chance than the aforementioned teams at getting in, but it is very unlikely at this point. On to the Rangers. After 8 games in the last 2 weeks, they have a relatively light load this week with only 3 games. On Tuesday, they're at home to face the Flyers, and they're off to the West Coast for a game on Thursday against the Avs, and then Saturday they head to Mullet Arena to face off against the Yotes. Lots of good hockey to come this week as these playoff races get down to the wire, so make sure you tune in. And until next week, this has been your 150.
Mikey P does a great 150. You guys got to check that out. So there's going to be times we might drop that on YouTube separate. It's really just a good recap. It's hard to follow the whole league. Did Mrs. 150 give us a fantasy update?
Welcome to your Rangers Ed Fantasy League update. The inaugural regular season has come to an end, and the standings look nothing like they did at the All-Star break. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. In first place, finishing the season with 432 points and a .626 win percentage. That's right, you all lost to a girl. The Massholes continued their surge over the past 2 months, finishing in second with 419 points and a .607. Not far behind is Cousin Ed, whose 415 points, .601 win percentage, and conniving with Little Ed got him to a very respectable third place. True Trouba Train was finally derailed, finishing 4th overall with 412 points and a .597, just squeaking ahead of Rise of Gautier, who had 411 points and a .596. Rounding out our top 6 is Coach Ed's Doghouse. Although with only 386 points, one of these things is not like the other. 7th place goes to Devil's State of Mind with 351 points. Things finally started looking up for Mikey Produces, who finished 8th with 330 points. In 9th is Oscar's Pro Stitch with 307, and Little Ed's Workshoppers finished in 10th place with 296. Finally, in a real nail-biter, Lucarelli Law and Coach Ed's Potato Knishes take 11th and 12th place with 191 and 190 points, respectively. We are heading straight into our fantasy playoffs, where the top 6 teams are vying for the championship title, while the bottom 6 teams are duking it out for a consolation prize. In our championship bracket, you're going to lose to a girl, and the Massholes are both enjoying their bye week, although they may still be looking to cause some chaos on the waiver wire. The Battle of the Eds happens this week as Cousin Ed takes on Coach Ed, although the winner has to go up against the Massholes, who haven't lost in 17 weeks, so I can't say I'm envious. Meanwhile, Trouba Train takes on Rise of Gautier, the winner of which is obviously going to lose to a girl. Again. A lot can happen, though, between now and April 18th, so stay tuned to find out who will be crowned the first Rangers Ed Fantasy League champion.
Coach Ed's Doghouse against Cousin Ed's Floppers. Are you checking your team, Coach?
I do it every morning, but I don't trade guys and switch guys like you do every morning.
Oh, you gotta play the wire, you know.
And Mikey P and his wife, have nothing else to do. They're like in hibernation up in Canada, up there,
north of the wall. That 150
Coach Ed's
is
up
brought
on
to
me
you.
5-2 right now, by the way.
That 150 was brought to you by Sorrento's on the West End. I mentioned them before, but for your game day meal, make sure you're going over to Sorrento's, grabbing that custom pizza, salad, chicken parm sandwich, some Italian pastries next door, some espresso. The works over there at Sorrento's, so definitely check them out.
Sounds like good stuff. And yeah, all right, let's move on to the trivia.
So we got a 3-point question.
Jesus.
I'm looking for
This is an 8-point question.
I feel like in back to school. I have a 2-part question. It comes with 23.
3 names. You got a point per name. All right.
Yeah.
Excluding the goaltenders, who are the top 3 players leading the team in time on ice this season?
that time on ice per game average or for the whole season?
Total. I would have said average if I meant average.
Total.
No.
So like if you play 20
Total
minutes four
minutes.
times, that's 80 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, well then I have to change my answer.
You should
You
be
can't
eliminated
change
for
the
all this
buzzes
extra
up.
Yeah. I don't think
You
so.
can't change.
Well,
Eliminated.
time on ice is
Voice off
typically per game.
Well,
It's not.
he
viewed
didn't
that. That's
say
not how the
average.
stat is
Total.
calculated. If you look at the stat time on ice, it's a per game average. That's
He
why
said
I
total
asked.
time on ice, though.
No, he didn't. Flip it back.
Yes, he did. Flip
All right.
it back.
All right. Cousin Ed's got Panarin, Zibanejad, and Miller. Little Ed's
Fox,
got
Trouba,
Fox,
Panarin.
Trouba, Panarin. Coach, Fox, Trouba, and Panarin. So, Trocheck leads the team in time on ice.
Really? Leads.
Well, Fox missed 10 games. Trouba's been out for a week or two. That's why it matters. I had Trouba, Fox, and Panarin also.
So,
Per
Trocheck
game.
leads the team. Miller is
It does
second.
matter.
Miller is second, and Panarin is third.
All right. See? Makes a difference. So everyone got Panarin.
Nobody got Trocheck.
No one got Trocheck, and I got Miller. Sorry, guys.
Yep.
That's a tricky question, Mikey.
Total
Very
time
tricky.
on ice. Trocheck has played 1,518 minutes. Miller's
He's played more than
played
Panarin. Wow.
1,511, and Panarin has only played 1,426.
Wow.
Well, Troche
Big
plays
drop
penalty
off.
kill also.
It's funny. I just looked it up, and even with missing 10 games, Fox is literally right behind Panarin. He's only 4
Yep.
minutes behind Panarin.
He plays like 7 minutes a game.
He almost got
He
into
played 30 the other night, or 29, I think.
Oh, man. Yeah,
It
my
was
friend, I watched the
27
Panthers.
towards the end of the game, I think. 27 and
I
change.
went
They
to
put
a
it up
bar
on
to
the
watch
board.
the Panthers game with my friend. He's a big Panthers fan. So we were just sitting there watching the game, and he goes, "Is Fox never not on the ice?" And I just thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting because we always say that about other players. Like when the Rangers play Pittsburgh, it's like, is Letang ever not on the ice?
Yeah.
So it was an interesting perspective to hear from another fan about your team, that you follow. But
Yep.
all right, boys, good episodes. Fans, make sure you check out our interview we're dropping this week on Friday with Dr. Ana Garcia. Talk about some sports injuries. Really interesting interview. Also, look out for Coach's Corner, which is going to drop soon as well. I don't know if we have a date for that release, but that's a YouTube exclusive as well. We're going to drop that. Coach Ed, I don't know if you want to tease what your topic is for the Coach's Corners for the fans if they want to go check it out.
It's basically going to be 3 points that lead to team defense in the playoffs.
Okay, that's vague, but hey, fans, if you want to talk about team defense in the playoffs, or
You want me to,
I should say,
you want me to talk about it for 10? You want me to talk about it for 10 minutes?
no, it's okay. If you want
No, it's
to
just
hear
going to be a
about
challenging graphic for little Ed over here. But
3
other than
points that lead you to team defense in the playoffs, check out Coach's Corner on YouTube, which is sponsored by, is it Bella
Bella
Italia. Yeah, Bella Italia.
No, Old Country Tile.
Old Country
Country-
Tile.
that's how I knew it.
Bella's Mikey's Fight Club.
Yes.
Yeah. So shout out to Bella. No fights to talk about. So definitely Bella Italia deserves some love. One of our good sponsors, and Old Country Tile sponsors Coach's Corner. So check that out on YouTube. And yeah, good stuff coming up, man. I can't wait for the playoffs. It's going to be fun. We're trying to think of some ideas of, how to do this in the playoffs, and so get you some game reactions. So we're not waiting a week, but we might not do full episodes playoff time. We might do game reactions. I don't know. We'll chat about ways to bring you some more content that's up to date. I'm excited. I can't wait for the playoffs. Other than that, fans, thank you for listening, and we will see y'all next week.
For sure. Great episode, guys.
Love you guys. Let's go
Love you
Rangers.
guys.
Guys.